What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name's Wes. I have a background in biochemistry. I have a law degree, and I kind of just dumb down a lot of the research and probably life experiences that I've had in the past to make you not make the same mistakes I have in the past. And in this episode, we're going to talk about if you're someone who's going to start your fat loss journey or your activity, or maybe you've done it multiple times, just hasn't been working, you really need to start with these things that I'm going to share, which are 100% proven facts to help you get to where you need to be. These aren't magic. Like, I'm not going to be saying anything that is just game breaking or game changing. It's just going to be very simplified things that you need to understand that perhaps you've thought about, but you haven't really just narrowed it down in your own head. And for me, that really helps me. Like in business, for example, there's books like behind me. I have the 4-Hour Work Week, where Tim Ferriss just really narrows down a set of rules to abide by. And that helps me revisit and just understand. That way I can make better progressions in the future in a professional sense. And in this, I have notes that I've accumulated over my educational career or my fat loss journeys that have or have not worked. And now I'm going to share with you. And these are 100% proven, not 99.999%, 100% that if you understand these, you are going to reach your physical activity improvement goals and your fat loss goals. I want to make sure that we understand that fat loss, not weight loss. People like to use that term weight loss, which you will lose weight. But what we're trying to do is lose fat, keep muscle. But when you're in a caloric deficit and your body's looking for energy, it's going to burn muscle at times, and that's why people get weaker. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started of the things. And the first thing you need to understand about where we're going and how it all works. 100% proven. Calories in must be less than your calories out. This is a fundamental law of thermodynamics, meaning that you can't, within a system, create energy. The energy has to be there for it to use. So in this instance, the closed system is going to be our bodies. It only can use energy that we've introduced to it through food or within the fat that we have. So when we are eating less in a healthy amount, our body needs to find energy somewhere. And it does that through the burning of your fat cells. And you don't lose fat cells. Your fat cells get bigger and then they get smaller and they shrink as you use the energy from them. So if you're not putting enough energy into your body and you're expending energy, then it's going to be searching any which way. And there's no targeted, like you can't just target your stomach fat or your butt fat or your back fat or your obliques. Like I store a lot here, and the only way in that I'm going to get rid of that fat stored in the spare tire is just overall slowly expending more energy than I'm actually putting into my body. And also the same goes the other way, that I go through bulks where I want to gain muscle, which means that I need to eat more in the right amounts, but that also equates to the storage of fat, because if your body's not going to be using certain energy, it wants to store it for later. It's just how our body's survival system works. So it's going to reach for fat cells when you're doing an energy expenditure that is in a caloric deficit, and it's also going to sometimes burn muscle. That's just the way our body works, and it's something you have to understand. There's no magic about it. Your body can only lose fat and weight, for that matter, if it's burning more than the food you're putting in. So it's very important to track. Do not rely on calorie trackers. I am a religious user of the Whoop strap. I've got a number of videos on my channel about it, but I don't look at it and go, okay, well, I burned X amount of calories, so I just need to subtract, and this is how much I'm going to eat. No, they could be wrong. Like when I go golfing, for some reason, I sit in a golf cart. Every caloric tracker, doesn't matter if it's Garmin, Fitbit, Whoop, Apple Watch, always says I burned like 4,000 calories within that day, and I know damn well I did not do that. Calorie trackers, through numerous studies, and you can see on my channel, I've done a whole bunch of different tests on them, have been shown to be as inaccurate up to 70%. Could you imagine eating 70% more calories because you relied on your caloric tracker, and then you're looking down at your belly and you're wondering why the hell I'm not losing weight? That is insane. The way I use any fitness tracker is just for trend lines. I just want to make sure that I'm keeping my activity level up. It should be able to do that, and you should be able to look at, for example, let me pull up. I've got my Whoop up here. If you see here, this is going to be the past week of my calories. It looks like yesterday I burned 3,500, quote unquote. I don't know. But I did have a much higher activity level yesterday than I did in the previous days. So all I'm doing on something like a Whoop chart, just looking at trend lines. If I'm being lazy, for some reason, if I look at like a 2-week view, and actually you notice that like I'm ramping up. I've really been focusing since after the holidays to improve my overall daily fitness level. But if I see it down here, like on Saturday, December 17th, I didn't burn that much and I have a slow metabolism, then I am going to likely be eating more because there's no way I'm eating about 1,900 calories there. So just for trend lines, any of these devices, electronic devices, there's no magic to them. They make them for the general public. They want them to be used, but they're not specific to you. And there's a whole bunch of numerous reasons why different devices act different ways for different people. Again, a bunch of videos on my channel about it. So I just look for trend lines in anything. Use a total daily expenditure calculator instead. So let me pull up mine. We'll use me for an example. Let's see here. What did I just do? Okay. All right. So if you're listening, I'm on tdeecalculator.net. And this is going to be learn how many calories you burn every day. Again, this is for the general public. So it's just going to give you an estimate on how much generally you're going to be burning in a given day. I'll put my age here. I'm 33 years old, currently sitting at 215 pounds. Been going through a bulk recently, and right now I was actually at 222. Oh, nope. You know what? I measured myself this morning. I'm at 211. I am 6 foot. I'm a little over 6 foot tall. Activity level, I am go on the safe side. I generally work out 5 days a week, but we're going to say it's heavy exercise. And then I know my body fat from doing, not from my body fat scale. This is actually from doing a DEXA scan, which is like a dual something exometry, yada, yada, yada. It just goes, it's much more accurate. And then we'll calculate. It doesn't want that. We'll say 13%. All right, so it says I'm going to be burning 3,700 calories a day on moderate exercise here. So let's go here. BMR, basal metabolic rate. This is just what my body needs just to live. Is saying about 2,100 calories a day. Sedentary, so on my rest days, light exercise days, anywhere from 2,900 to 2,600. And this is what I factor my numbers off of. So I'll take, let's say this heavy exercise one's 3,700. I want to be on the safe side, go moderate exercise, 3,300, subtract 500 for a healthy caloric deficit, and we'll talk about that. And give me that if I want to lose weight, about 2,800 calories a day is where I should be. BMI, there's certain things that I just don't want to worry about. My BMI, I don't want to worry about because I have more muscle mass, less body fat. I'm just going to see classified as overweight. It is what it is. Track your food. I use MyFitnessPal. I have a premium subscription. I like to monitor and differentiate what I want my macros to go to. So you have your proteins, your fat, and your carbohydrates. I've done other things through this channel and in my life to show that I'm very carb sensitive. So I have a lower carb diet. One thing to know too, with these calories out is a lot of people are going to go keto. They're going to go full carnivore. They're going to go vegan. these are basically elimination diets. And I think it's been proven time and time again that when people hop on these different diets, they tend to feel better. Well, these people also tend to be eating crappy foods, eating fast foods, eating candy, eating high sugar breads and whatnot. So when you go on these different diets and you're literally eliminating those from your daily intake, you start feeling better. Inflammation's down, you lose a lot of water weight. And that's another important thing to know, is that people, when you're starting a more healthier diet, inflammation goes down, water weight goes down, and it looks like you're losing weight really fast. Well, you're just expending a lot of crap that your body's retained. And now at a certain point, when you slow down and it feels like you're plateauing and you start losing a little motivation, you're actually starting the process of where you want to be. So we'll talk about more about that in a bit. But you got to track your food, and you got to do it diligently and honestly. You got to try to hit your macro goals and your different protein, carbs, and fat goals, because it's very important. And I don't want to go too far in depth of what that mixture should be for yourself, just because I don't know who you are, and this is just for the general public. But you got to do what you can to hit your goals every single day, and at least, at minimum, hit that caloric deficit goal, that overall calorie goal. Even cheat meals. I want to put something out that is more like, if you've heard about 75 hard, it's kind of just this baptism by fire, complete life change. And I just don't see it working for a lot of people. I personally don't like it, just because when you make such an extravagant life change, people just tend not to stick to that kind of different pattern of life. Instead, kind of slowly introduce yourself into this new lifestyle, because you don't want any regression, right? But there's a term, if it fits your macros. So even if I have a cheat meal day, like football season, love eating pizza, I want to make sure that even though I'm eating pizza or eating crappy food once, maybe twice a week, I'm at least keeping under or trying to meet my macro levels as much as possible, which sometimes means even cooking it for myself. That's a good trick too. Instead of going out for burgers, maybe cook your own, and then you start seeing how many calories that you just don't understand where the hell they come from. You know where they come from: processed food, introduction of preservatives, all that other crap. But if you can eat some good food and learn a new hobby at the same time. This, very important. Less than 500 calories a day is healthy. There's roughly 3,500 calories, capital C, this is kilocalories, or kilocalories, is equal to 1 pound. So you got to be patient. You got to be really patient in doing this healthy lifestyle. If you're in too much of a deficit, there's some detrimental effects. Mainly, you're going to really want to binge eat. I think that's a big thing that I've seen with people, is that you just want to jump in. You want to, you've been accumulating this fat over so much period of time, but you want to lose it like that. That's just not how anything works. You got to be patient. It's 1 pound a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. You could be down, if you're much heavier, 52 pounds by the end of the year, which would be insane. So you got to think of it that way. 4 pounds in a month, 2 months, 8 pounds, and it just starts accumulating over time. So be patient. Next, find a physical activity you love. Why the hell people who hate running want to go start running because they feel like that's what you're supposed to do? There are so many things to do. There's rec leagues, there's martial arts, you can go try CrossFit, you could play pickleball, you could play tennis, you could do anything that you otherwise weren't doing, and do it in a way that makes you physically healthy. If you don't like going to Gold's Gym and bench pressing, don't do it. But I will tell you that as you, like, say you want to start off slow and you just want to go for a daily hike. You go for a daily hike, start losing weight, start feeling better, start feeling mentally healthier, and then the hiking turns into pickleball with friends. Then you start losing weight, then that turns into going to a CrossFit gym. And then you start gaining more confidence in doing other things, and it starts opening up your whole world into this new world of daily activity that you just otherwise didn't know about. That's how it works. It's just a gateway drug. Just just start with 7,000 steps a day. How about that? If you're someone who has a completely sedentary lifestyle, or just get a bike. I've tried, I think I've tried just about everything that there is. Here, important note. This is why I've made notes. For yourself, not others. I got a book behind me called The Psychology of Money. And one of the things it talks about is like you're spending money for yourself. If you're spending it for others, you're just going to fail. In that sense, you're going to go broke. And here, you're just not going to keep up. You have to do it for yourself. If someone tries to talk you into doing something you don't love, you're going to dread it every single day. And then, of course, you're just going to fail. You got to find something. I'm sorry, even if that means that, well, if you do enjoy doing something with friends, like the Peloton, for example, not something I would ordinarily do, but my friends and I had a leaderboard and I'm very competitive. So I just want to beat them. And that was for myself, but they also did it as well. To me, that was just fun. But whatever your motivation is, you got to find it for yourself. This keeps yourself accountable, keeps yourself motivated. Again, if you don't like what you're doing, if you don't want to go run every single day, then the last thing you're going to want to do is go run every single day. And then you skip a day and you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll run double tomorrow. And then you skip another day, and before you know it, you're done. Try new things. Like I said, I've done Muay Thai. I've played rugby. I've done jiu-jitsu. I do CrossFit. I paddleboard. I've climbed a mountain. Just a whole bunch of other things just to put myself in different situations and experience new things. That for me, it's just fun. Hell, even if I don't feel like going to the CrossFit gym, or specifically my CrossFit gym one day, I'll go to another one. I'll do a drop-in. And the new environment kind of just keeps things fresh. So ClassPass. When I lived in Miami, ClassPass was a fun thing. There was a lot of options. You can go do a spin class, go do yoga, go do a whole bunch of different things. And it was just fun that you were just doing something different all the time. And new experiences. All right, next. Be patient. Oh my God, please be patient. Like I said before, 500 calories a day. You got to take it day by day. Every single day. Okay, I accomplished what I wanted to today. I hit my macros. I did something active. And that's it for the day. All right. Like I love lists. I track everything through work, through personal, and just make sure that I'm checking the boxes that I need to do every day. That's just for me. Not saying it's for you, but I've done through a number of years, tried different things. And I can see when I've screwed off on a day, like I'll literally write like I ate a pizza or something today. And then if I look back at a journal and I'm like, why didn't I lose weight? Well, I ate pizza twice this week. No, duh, idiot. This is why I'm not losing weight. Don't be too hard on yourself too. Here you go. Journal task list. It's exactly what I was just talking about for me. Track my macros. My fitness tracker tracks my activity. And I also have different task lists for professional and personal life. Stay off the scale for a while. This is kind of like investing, stocks. If you look at it every single day, you're going to drive yourself absolutely up a wall. You got to stay off the scale for a while. You're going to be like, okay, your weight fluctuates every single day, every hour of the day. Like I'm drinking coffee right now. So if I go use the restroom, my weight's going to go down, but I'm going to drink probably 1 to 2 gallons of water today. So my weight's going to go up because I'm holding that water plus all the food. So you could be 5 pounds heavier at the evening than you are at the beginning of the day. Just stay the hell off the scale. After Thanksgiving, I was 222 pounds, stayed off of it, weighed myself this morning. I was this morning, it was 211. And so in the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've dropped and just staying off the scale. Also, videos on this, I've got a couple of them. Body fat scales are inaccurate, so use it for trend lines, but not for your actual accuracy of your body fat as you're losing. And then again, 500 calories a day equals healthy. 3,500 calories is a pound. Know your why. I probably should have put this first, is why are you doing it? Like I'll share my why. The men in my family have not been the healthiest. My grandfather passed away at 55. My dad passed away last year at 55 years old. Different health reasons, but I want to make sure that my health is on point. There's also, so that's kind of a personal, there's also a broader biological aspect to it, where I read books like Sapiens or Homo Deus and I realize, well, our bodies are meant to expend energy. The weird thing is that we've created more calorically dense foods. So in our more primitive years, our job was to constantly gather food, gather herbs, gather fruits, vegetables, gather meat. And that was just our job, was to survive. And all of our energy was expended to do that. It was just this constant cycle. That's kind of how animals live in general. I mean, we're animals, but I mean, wild animals, we'll say. And then Industrial Revolution hits. We create more food for everyone than fast food, more calorically dense. And you would think that the more calories we consume, the more energy we can expend. But really, the comfort of living has gone backwards. So we're eating more calories and we're expending less energy. So biologically, in my head, we have not evolved at the same rate that the industry and our surroundings has. So we still need to get out there, expend energy just like we are in our primitive state, because we are animals. Like you can't, there's no way around it. You got to do it. People that don't tend to be more anxious, and it's just a built up of just energy that you just need to go out there and do. That's kind of one of the side effects too of being more physically active, is that your mental health goes way the hell up. So those are a couple of my whys: personal, biological. I just think you got to do it. Why equals motivation, understanding. And this is why in all aspects of life. I'm telling you, like, the more you understand the why of you're doing something, the better you are going to be in doing your job. Like, even in my professional sense, that if someone gives me a task, I need to understand the why behind it. And that'll give me the most empathy to my workers of who I'm interacting with. And then also I can do the best job, and I can think the best way about completing that task. Same with fat loss. I understand the why for my own reasons, and that helps motivate me. I just want to be a healthy person. And that's it. This is the full 100% proven recap. Calories in must be less than calories out. Find a physical activity you love. This actually also comes from Atomic Habits. The more inclined you're more inclined to do something, the more you love it. You got to be patient. Same Atomic Habits, take things day by day, and then understand and know your why, which could really be the first step of the 100% proven different tips. So I hope that you find this helpful. It isn't anything game changing, but you gotta know these four things in order to be successful. I've made the mistake. I've got the stretch marks to prove it. I've gotten up to 250 pounds. Didn't like the way I looked. Got the hydroxy cut. Was eating like crap. I guess technically I was eating like crap when I was eating like 1,800 calories a day for someone my size, which is insane. And just trying to lose weight as fast as possible. It's just not how it works. You got to be patient. You got to understand these different things. I'm going to do another follow-up of kind of how to ease into it in a more healthy, different lifestyle change than doing something like just a drastic change that ultimately may set you up for failure. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you loved it. I've got a number of affiliate links in the description below if you want to support the channel. And I do appreciate you listening. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I am very active down there, and I appreciate your time in watching this. Good luck and enjoy the journey.